everyone, your friendly fast-talking Shadowsteller is here with another update regarding subspecies in the upcoming Monster Hunter World Iceborne expansion. The behind-the-scenes Comic-Con presentation was revealed yesterday, which brought in some extra information regarding the Fulgur Anjanath, Ebony Odogaron and the acidic Glavenus. For everyone new to the channel, welcome to my epic world of gaming and music. Be sure to check me out on Twitch, where I livestream a variety of games as well as composing soundtracks for video games and epic travel music live. I will quickly recap the most important information from the presentation. If you want to watch the full 30-minute video, there will be a link down below in the description that you can check out. What Capcom are doing with the subspecies is give a new challenge to hunters, while at the same time do more than simply increase the damage the monsters do. For comparison, are some of the current subspecies in the game, the Pancratian and the Zuratalos, which feel a little familiar to their normal counterparts, but introduce new moves, abilities and focus on different combinations of patterns, giving a uniqueness to the fight. The combination of those with the increase in their damage, changes to their weaknesses and strengths, creates a challenge which players can enjoy. It gives something new, fresh and different. You do not feel like fighting a different version of the same monster. It feels like fighting a totally different monster altogether. The way they design the subspecies is that they go back to the basics of the monster and focus on a specific concept which to deviate and further develop into a subspecies. Let's take a look at Fulgur Anjanath. Firstly, you will face against Fulgur Anjanath around the midpoint of the Master Rank quests. Since there will be differences between Master Rank and G Rank, I cannot comment for sure what they mean by midpoint, but from what was shown on the presentation, it says that it's a rank 3 Thunder Element monster that will invade all zones. This means you will be able to encounter him or he will invade you in any zone of the game. Fulgur Anjanath will store and build up electricity in its body. The more electricity it stores, the more devastating its attacks will be and the more they will have an electrical effect. They want the players to be able to control how he builds up the electricity and control the fight. Also, those attacks will easily stun you without the proper protection and bonuses. His electrical charge and rage mode are separate states and managed differently, so you have to watch out for both of them. Anjanath will have 3 stages: normal, charged and fully charged state. Scratch that, he'll have 4 stages if you include his enraged state, since it's a separate one. You can easily tell the difference between the 3 stages. The moment he goes full charge, his wings show up and there's tons of electricity surging throughout his body. He can throw 2 types of electrical snots, or booger bombs as I like to call them from now on. There's a straight direction version and there's a free direction multiple barrage version. They will have electrical ailment and will have a chance to stun you if they hit you. The middle stage, while he builds up the electricity, is easily visible because he has small sparks around him, but he doesn't show his wings. We also got a look at 2 early concept arts of how he was supposed to look, and I must say that both look awesome. The final one is great, but I would have loved if they picked the bottom one for the final choice. We also see a short glimpse of the concept for the Fulgur armor and the Fulgur weapons, which also look great. Next up, let's take a look at the Ebony Odogaron. Not many have seen the normal Odogaron in his powered up state. That's when he eats meat and goes into Super Saiyan mode, as I love to call it. For Ebony Odogaron, he will start in a powered state and will grow weaker with time, so you have to handle the initial high damage output and figure out how to survive to his more weaker state. Remember that he can always eat meat again and go into the empowered mode after he is weakened. Unlike the regular one, the Ebony one has a more wide range attacks rather than pinpoint location attacks. He retains the bleeding ailment attacks and will of course utilize dragon element attacks. He will be weak to elemental damage. The question here is whether it will be all types of elemental damage or only specific ones. He will not be damaged by dragon element. Ebony Odogaron will be a rank 4 monster that invades again all zones. His 2 states will be a berserker one when he's empowered and a normal state. You can clearly see that during the berserker one he's more aggressive and the dragon element is constantly popping around his mouth and his attacks. You'll have to evade his attacks and survive through the onslaught until he goes into a normal state or the weakened state. Crowd controlling would also be an option in this stage, however I do not recommend going all in on attacking, since he's bound to deal tons of damage with each attack. And remember, this is Master Rank, not normal, guys. We can see a few early concepts of Ebony Odogaron and the armor. They actually went with designing the armor first, then focusing on designing Ebony Odogaron himself. And here's the final armor concept and weapons they went with, which look extremely sick. I mean, they look like exactly how I imagined a Nether Dragon inspired monster weapons would look. One of the best looking weapons for me in the game. Finally, we have the acidic Glavenus. The approach they went with him is again having 3 states of his tail rather than overall monster states. The main focus on acidic Glavenus is his tail and expanding its attack arsenal there. His tail has sharpened, normal and debuffing state. The debuffing state is called sulfuric state, and while he's in that state, he can apply status ailment, has less mobility and focuses more on the ailment attacks. The status ailment will lower the player's defenses. When he's sharpened his tail, he loses the ability to apply the status ailment, but instead gains more damage, mobility and can do more attacks while he moves, covering a wider hit radius. After he sharpens the tail, it will slowly degrade over time, losing its sharpness and slowly gaining back its status ailment properties. It should be noted that the moment he sharpens the tail, he does an extremely damaging and wide range spinning attack. The normal stage in between the two is when he builds up a small amount of acid crystals on his tail. Your main goal will be to not let him apply the debuff during his sulfuric state, while at the same time focus on dealing more damage due to his slower patterns. Then be more vigilant and focus on evading and surviving during his sharpened state. And that's about it. If you want to watch the full presentation, link will be in the description down below. Thanks a lot for watching as always, guys and girls. Be sure to give the video a like or a dislike as you see fit, and to also drop a comment down below with feedback and suggestions for future videos. If you want to see more content like this, remember to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon in order to get notifications. This is everything from me for this video. See you in the next one. Shadow Strider out.